Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Agent 007, also known as James Bond, is one of the most iconic characters of all time. Since his inception in books by writer Ian Fleming, he has resonated with many generations, becoming synonymous with novels, movies, comics, and more. Bond has also found his way into the world of video games, becoming a staple in that realm as well. My first introduction to James Bond was through Goldeneye on the Nintendo 64, a true classic in the first-person shooter genre, and is still one of my favorites to this day. This experience led me to discover the movies, and I developed a deep appreciation for the character. The 007 video games are always a treat, whether they're based on the films or offer a wholly unique experience. It's fascinating to see how they take elements from the movies and translate them into engaging gameplay experiences. Today, I've compiled a list of every official James Bond game on the original Xbox, presented in chronological order. I want to break down what makes each one special and let you know what some of the best are. But let's go ahead and get things started. The first Bond game to come to the original Xbox was Agent Under Fire. Originally released on the PlayStation 2 in 2001, it was later ported to the GameCube and Xbox in March of 2002. This first-person shooter Bond adventure features its own unique story, introducing a Bond not modeled after any of the main actors. However, the voice actor and character portrayal fit the role convincingly, delivering the signature one-liners in true Bond fashion. Agent Under Fire offers a solid Bond experience and fits right into the 007 universe. In this entry, your mission is to thwart the creation of a group of clones by a mysterious corporation. The plot is rich with political intrigue, characteristic of the Bond universe, featuring backstabbing, twists, and turns. The inclusion of a compelling Bond girl, Zoe Nightshade, adds a depth to the narrative, and she continues to be a part of the franchise in the next game. The game incorporates various level types, including on-rail shooter sequences, driving levels, and first-person shooter missions. The addition of vehicle levels provides a welcome variety, with open areas with an array of weapons and vehicle destruction reminiscent of Twisted Metal. The on-rails levels, while simple, contribute to the game's overall variety. However, the core of the experience lies in the first-person shooter levels. The level design is well executed, featuring dynamic scenarios ranging from stealth missions to intense shootouts. The game captures the essence of globe-trotting, taking players to numerous locations that are both visually appealing and enjoyable to explore. The shooting mechanics are excellent, and the diverse gadget selection truly immerses players in the role of Bond, all of which works well with Agent Under Fire's multiplayer, which is fast-paced and a complete blast. While Agent Under Fire offers a unique Bond experience outside the movies, there are a few drawbacks. The controls can be a bit challenging to adapt to. It falls somewhere between the mechanics of Goldeneye and maybe a later first-person shooter like Halo, and creates a slightly off feel. It always feels like your hands are moving around the controller in an unintuitive way. Another minor issue is the constant play of the Bond theme. It plays it whenever you do 007 moments, which are supposed to be huge moments, but sometimes it happens for routine actions like opening a door, which does become tiresome. I love the theme, but the horns get annoying after constant replay. Despite these minor flaws, though, Agent Under Fire delivers an enjoyable Bond experience, and it's really good for those who appreciate espionage infused with a big action movie feel. But rest assured, we are only going to go up from here. Just a few months later, in November of 2002, Nightfire was released on the PS2, GameCube, and the original Xbox. Nightfire plays similarly to Agent Under Fire, but comes with enough upgrades to make it a sequel that surpasses its predecessor. One notable improvement is the inclusion of Pierce Brosnan's likeness, providing a more seamless integration into the James Bond universe. Nightfire has a story involving the loss of a space station that's being transformed into a weapon of mass destruction. This narrative is similar to the plot of one of the movies, but it does a good job of just providing solid and enjoyable action and enough variety to give a crazy amount of locations to go to. Nightfire keeps the variety seen in the previous installment, featuring diverse locales and thrilling driving sections. The driving mechanics are improved here, offering a more fluid and streamlined experience. Instead of an open world setting, the game places you on stretches of roads that go through cities, creating a heightened sense of being in the middle of an action movie. Special moments during driving segments also allow for unique moves, contributing to endgame scores that unlock golden versions of weapons. Drawing inspiration from The Spy Who Loved Me, the underwater driving sections stand out as some of the game's most enjoyable moments for me, adding a fresh and unique element to the experience. The first-person shooter controls receive a major upgrade, feeling responsive and intuitive. Weapon and gadget swapping is streamlined, providing a more seamless gameplay experience. The level design surpasses that of Agent Under Fire, featuring an impressive array of locales, from snow-covered mountains to skyscrapers, and even in space. Each level encourages interaction with the environment to achieve goals, with the skyscraper level standing out as really enjoyable. The intricately designed stairwells and maze-like rooms make sneaking around a joy. The multiplayer aspect is once again a strong suit, with the addition of bots offering a welcome option for those that want some quick shooter fun, but can only play by themselves. This is probably my pick on the Xbox for the best Bond multiplayer. Nightfire connects back to Agent Under Fire in both gameplay and story, improving upon its predecessor. Overall, Nightfire stands as an excellent first-person shooter of its era, with EA successfully delivering more of what made the Bond formula work in first person. Yet, EA would leave the first person for the next entry. On February 17th, 2004, the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube received Everything or Nothing. This entry sees James Bond enter the third person, which wasn't the first time for the series, but the first time on the Xbox, featuring Pierce Brosnan both in voice and face. It serves as a direct continuation of the movie Die Another Day, and has a great cast of characters maintaining a movie quality appeal, with Judi Dench and John Cleese returning from the franchise. Heidi Klum and Willem Dafoe show up, and Dafoe delivers an excellent performance as a connected villain to Max Zorin from A View to a Kill. The plot serves as an excellent companion piece to the Brosnan Bond films, embodying the over-the-top action, insane plots, and perfect blend of explosions and humor. Each level unfolds as a giant action set piece, ensuring non-stop entertainment. Whether rappelling down exploding dams, or sneaking through areas, or engaging in car jumps in Egypt, the gameplay remains consistently insane, delivering not only a compelling plot, but also an engaging experience. The transition from first to third person is executed very well, distinguishing itself from other titles on the Xbox. The targeting system is simple yet effective, providing tight controls, and the cover-based shooting system feels intuitive. The driving levels, while not inherently bad, might feel a bit stiff, especially when compared to the driving sections in Nightfire. The game truly shines in its insane set pieces, where you find yourself shooting waves of enemies. I played this one the most when I was younger, and revisiting it just reinforced its appeal. The gameplay, with its great cover shooter mechanics, remains enjoyable throughout. Similar to its predecessors, this entry maintains a strong sense of variety and stays true to the films. Everything or Nothing stands out as a really great original James Bond story that feels like a movie. With co-op functionality, it becomes a great game to share with a friend. And this is just another amazing James Bond game on the Xbox. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to leave a like, as it helps me out a lot in the algorithm. Subscribe if you want to keep up with the retro Xbox content, but let's move on. On November 22nd, 2004, Goldeneye Rogue Agent was released on the GameCube, PS2, DS, and Xbox. This one marks a departure from the typical James Bond story. You don't play as James Bond, but this game exists in the Bond universe, so that's why it's included on this list. It returns to the first-person shooter format, but leans more towards an all-out shooting spree style than a slower objective-based shooter. While it may not align with the iconic Goldeneye game from the Nintendo 64, this game does offer an interesting and entertaining shooter experience. The story is a mix of classic villains and characters from Bond films. Expelled from government service, you're hired by Goldfinger and find yourself in the middle of a war between him and Dr. No. With your cybernetic golden eye, you gain powers like seeing through walls and taking out hordes of enemies. This is a fast-paced shootout game, and the shooting mechanics feel excellent and responsive. If you enjoy shooting gallery-style gameplay, Rogue Agent stands out for its intense on-screen action. One notable downside for me is the level design. While the ideas for locales such as Fort Knox from Goldfinger or the skyscrapers, which are similar to Nightfire, are cool, the execution lacks interesting design. The wide areas lack intricate detail. The gameplay works, but given the wild concepts like Goldfinger's Casino, more could have been done to enhance the experience. Despite this though, the game boasts amazing music, fun references, and a solid multiplayer mode. I was pleasantly surprised with this one for how entertaining it was. The shooting is on point and it feels amazing to control, and if you like shooters in general, it's going to feel right at home for you. While the level design might be disappointing when compared to its other console Bond games, as a standalone shooter on the console, it remains excellent. The frantic and fast-paced gameplay, coupled with nods to older Bond movies, adds appeal. However, it may not be the ideal choice for classic Bond fans who might find the next entry more to their liking. On November 1st, 2005, the Xbox along with the PS2 and GameCube got From Russia with Love, a game based on the classic Bond film of the same name from 1963. Being one of the best Bond films, the decision to create a full game around it, even bringing back Sean Connery to reprise his role, was a bold and intriguing move. I had never played this one, but I was so interested in it when it came out, and having played it recently, my appreciation for this game has only grown. If you're a fan of Sean Connery's Bond, or just well-executed third-person shooters, From Russia with Love stands out as an excellent title. The gameplay is reminiscent of Everything or Nothing and follows a familiar structure, essentially just doing the plot of the original movie, but incorporating elements from other Connery Bond films. Hearing Sean Connery's voice, even if he sounds somewhat disinterested, is a treat in itself, and adds a humorous touch to the overall experience, and I love hearing him back at it again. The intricate level design successfully captures the 1960s aesthetic, making it an excellent looking game with crisp visuals that transport players back to iconic scenes from the movies. The gameplay mechanics are well executed, featuring an easy-to-use targeting system. The shooting is straightforward but enjoyable, with a variety of classic guns and gadgets at your disposal. The return of a rappelling system from Everything or Nothing adds a familiar yet engaging element. The introduction of a jetpack allowing you to fly around and shoot is really fun, and it's the over-the-top touch that this adds that integrates it into the overall gameplay and the Bond universe. Driving levels make a comeback here too, and it offers open-world areas for you to explore. While these levels may feel a bit empty, they are really entertaining and it captures the locales perfectly. Personally, I enjoyed using all the Bond car gadgets down to the spikes on the wheels to knock out other cars. From Russia with Love stands out as an excellent Bond game specifically based on a movie, and it provides a nostalgic and charming throwback. It feels like a fitting conclusion to EA's Bond tenure on the original Xbox. And that concludes the Bond games on the original Xbox, and what an impressive run it had on the console. Each game brought its unique touches, making them all highly entertaining experiences. Unfortunately, after EA, Activision took over the IP in the next generation, and the series lost some of its prominence and quality. With a new game on the horizon, hopefully we can return to the greatness of the titles we talked about today. I'm going to go ahead and rank these titles, and honestly that's a challenging task since each has their own merits. I would say all of them are good, but starting at the bottom is Goldeneye, While it's a fun shooter, its level design doesn't stand out as much as the others. Next is Everything or Nothing, which is another excellent game, but it doesn't quite match the mechanical prowess or highlight moments of the other third-person Bond title on the Xbox. At number 3 is Agent Under Fire, which is a solid and enjoyable Bond experience. Number 2 on the list is From Russia with Love. Some might not agree with this high of a placement, but I really appreciated Sean Connery's return, and the game developers really focused in on that third-person gameplay and capturing the locales and feeling of the original movie. Finally, I believe Nightfire takes the top spot on the console. While all these games are great, Nightfire offers a stellar original James Bond experience from start to finish, with each level featuring detailed design, and it's all highly replayable with the strongest multiplayer element of the bunch. If I could only choose one of these to recommend, Nightfire would be the recommendation. That wraps it up for today. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to keep up with the retro Xbox content. Comment below with any Bond gaming memories, and I want to give a special shout out to my YouTube channel members. Thank you so much for the support. And I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.